Michael Jackson, The Rise of the King of Pop. Part 1, The Beginning, 00 to 230. Imagine changing the world with nothing more than your voice. Imagine creating music that millions of people would continue listening to decades later. Imagine inspiring generations of singers, dancers, and performers across every corner of the globe. This is the story of Michael Jackson, a boy from a small industrial city who grew into one of the most influential entertainers in history. Born on August 29, 1958 in Gary, Indiana, Michael Joseph Jackson was the 8th of 10 children in the Jackson family. Life wasn't easy. The family lived in a modest home, and money was often limited. But inside that small house, something extraordinary was taking shape. Michael's father, Joseph Jackson, noticed that several of his children had musical talent. Determined to help them succeed, he formed a singing group that would later become known as the Jackson 5. Even among his talented brothers, one child stood out. Michael possessed an incredible voice, remarkable rhythm, and a natural confidence on stage that was astonishing for someone so young. While most children his age were playing outside, Michael was rehearsing for hours, learning dance routines, and performing in local talent shows. His dedication quickly paid off. Soon, the Jackson 5 signed with Motown Records, one of the biggest music labels in America. Their first songs became instant hits. I Want You Back, A BC, I'll Be There. One after another, the songs climbed the music charts. Before reaching his teenage years, Michael Jackson had already become a household name. Millions of people watched him perform on television. Fans screamed wherever he appeared. The world had discovered an extraordinary young performer. But this was only the beginning. Michael dreamed of something even greater. He wanted to create music that would be remembered forever. By the time Michael Jackson was just 11 years old, he had already achieved what most musicians could only dream of. The Jackson 5 had become one of America's biggest musical acts. Their energetic performances, catchy songs, and incredible choreography made them stand out from every other group of the era. Wherever they performed, thousands of fans filled concert halls, hoping to catch a glimpse of the talented brothers from Indiana. But there was one performer who always stole the spotlight. Michael's voice carried a level of emotion and confidence that amazed audiences. His natural charisma made it almost impossible to look away whenever he stepped onto the stage. As the years passed, Michael continued improving his singing, dancing, and songwriting. He wasn't satisfied with simply being successful. He wanted to become the very best. In the late 1970s, he made one of the biggest decisions of his career. While remaining connected to his family, Michael began focusing on building a solo career. Many people wondered whether he could succeed on his own. After all, leaving behind one of the world's most famous groups was a huge risk. But Michael believed he had something unique to offer. In 1979, he released his 5th solo studio album, Off the Wall. The album introduced a fresh blend of pop, disco, funk, and soul. It sounded different from anything people had heard before. Songs like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You quickly climbed the charts and became international hits. Listeners loved the smooth vocals, infectious rhythms, and unforgettable melodies. Critics praised the album, calling it one of the finest pop records ever created. For Michael, however, it still wasn't enough. Despite selling millions of copies and earning worldwide recognition, he felt there was another level he had not yet reached. He wanted to create an album that would not simply become popular. He wanted to create one that would make history. That ambition would soon change the music industry forever. In the next chapter of his journey, Michael Jackson would release an album that broke records, transformed music videos into cinematic experiences, and earned him a title that people still remember today: the King of Pop. Thriller, the album that changed the world, 5-8. Michael Jackson had already proven that he could succeed as a solo artist, but his next goal was even more ambitious. He wanted to create the greatest pop album ever made. To achieve that dream, Michael worked with legendary producer Quincy Jones. Together, they spent countless hours perfecting every song, every lyric, and every sound. Michael believed that every track had to be unforgettable. On November 30th, 1982, the world was introduced to Thriller. At first, nobody could have imagined what was about to happen. The album featured hit after hit, including Billie Jean, Beat It, and the title track, Thriller. Each song had its own unique style, blending pop, rock, R&B, and funk into something completely fresh. Radio stations played the songs constantly, record stores struggled to keep the album in stock, fans lined up to buy copies, and music critics praised its creativity and production. But Michael wasn't satisfied with making great music alone. He wanted people to see the music as well. Instead of creating ordinary promotional videos, he transformed them into short cinematic stories. The Thriller music video was unlike anything audiences had ever experienced. With elaborate costumes, choreography, and storytelling, it felt more like a Hollywood film than a music video. Soon, artists everywhere began investing more time and creativity into their own videos, changing the music industry forever. Then came one of the most unforgettable moments in entertainment history. During a live television performance celebrating Motown's anniversary in 1983, Michael introduced a dance move that would become legendary: the moonwalk. As he appeared to glide backwards across the stage, the audience erupted with excitement. People around the world immediately tried to learn the move. It became one of the most recognizable dance steps ever created and remains closely associated with Michael Jackson to this day. As the months passed, Thriller continued breaking records. It became the best-selling album of all time, selling tens of millions of copies across the globe. Awards poured in, fans filled stadiums, newspapers called him the biggest entertainer on earth. By the mid-1980s, Michael Jackson was no longer just a successful singer. He had become a worldwide cultural icon, and this was only the beginning of a career that would influence music, dance, fashion, and entertainment for generations to come. Michael Jackson. The Rise of the King of Pop. Part 4. Becoming the King of Pop. 8 to 10:30. By the mid-1980s, Michael Jackson had become more than just a successful musician. He had become a global phenomenon. His songs were playing on radios across every continent. His music videos were watched by millions, and his concerts attracted crowds unlike anything the music industry had ever seen. Fans traveled from around the world just to see him perform live. Some waited for hours outside stadiums, others camped overnight for tickets, and when Michael finally stepped onto the stage, the excitement was overwhelming. Many fans screamed with joy, some even fainted before the concert had truly begun. His performances combined incredible vocals, precise choreography, dazzling stage effects, and unmatched energy. Every concert felt like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Michael also developed a look that became instantly recognizable. The black fedora, the sparkling glove, military-style jackets, black loafers paired with white socks. These weren't just fashion choices, they became symbols recognized across the world. As his popularity continued to grow, so did his influence. Artists from every genre began studying his performances. They admired his dancing, his stage presence, and his ability to connect with audiences through both music and emotion. Many performers who became famous years later have credited Michael Jackson as one of their greatest inspirations. His influence reached far beyond music. He changed the way concerts were produced. He raised the standard for music videos. He inspired new styles of dance. Even fashion trends reflected his unique personality. Awards continued to pour in. Record-breaking album sales, sold-out world tours, television appearances watched by millions. By this point, newspapers, fans, and fellow musicians all agreed on one thing. Michael Jackson was no longer simply a pop star. He had earned a title that would remain with him forever: the King of Pop. But despite the fame, the awards, and the worldwide admiration, Michael never stopped looking for ways to make a positive difference. Away from the bright lights of the stage, he quietly supported charities, children's hospitals, and humanitarian causes around the world. His next chapter would reveal a different side of the world's biggest superstar, a man who believed music could inspire hope and help people in need. Michael Jackson. The Rise of the King of Pop. Part 6, The Final Years and a World in Shock, 1300 to 1500. In 2009, after years away from major concert tours, Michael Jackson announced what fans had been waiting for: a spectacular comeback. The concert series was called This Is It, and it was planned to take place at London's O2 Arena. The response was unbelievable. Hundreds of thousands of fans from around the world rushed to buy tickets. The demand was so enormous that additional shows had to be added. Excitement spread across the globe. For many people, this was going to be their first, and perhaps only, chance to see Michael Jackson perform live. Behind the scenes, rehearsals were already underway. Michael worked with dancers, musicians, choreographers, and production teams to create a show unlike anything audiences had seen before. Videos from the rehearsals showed him singing, dancing, and carefully refining every performance. Even after decades in the music industry, he remained dedicated to perfection. Then, on June 25, 2009, the world received heartbreaking news. Michael Jackson had died at the age of 50. The announcement shocked millions of people. Television networks interrupted their regular programming. Radio stations immediately began playing his greatest hits. News spread across the internet within minutes. Fans gathered outside his home, music venues, and famous landmarks to remember the artist they admired. Around the world, people left flowers, candles, letters, and photographs as tributes. Many described the moment as one of the most unforgettable days in modern music history. Although his life had come to an unexpected end, his music did not. The rehearsal footage from the planned concerts was later released as the documentary film, This Is It, giving fans a glimpse of the performances he had been preparing. For millions, it became both a celebration of his talent and a reminder of the concert tour that never happened. But Michael Jackson's story did not end in 2009. In many ways, his greatest legacy was only beginning. Michael Jackson, The Rise of the King of Pop. Part 5, Fame, Challenges, and Public Life, 1030 to 1300. As Michael Jackson's fame continued to grow, so did the pressure that came with it. Being one of the most recognizable people on earth meant that almost every part of his life was watched by the public. Photographers followed him wherever he went. Television programs reported on his daily activities. Newspapers published headlines about his personal life as often as they wrote about his music. For someone who had spent nearly his entire life in the spotlight, privacy became increasingly difficult to find. Over the years, many people noticed changes in Michael's appearance. He publicly explained that he had been diagnosed with vitiligo, a skin condition that causes patches of skin to lose their natural pigment. He also spoke about having lupus, another health condition. In addition, he underwent cosmetic procedures, which contributed to changes in his appearance. These changes led to constant public discussion and widespread media speculation. Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, Michael also faced serious allegations that attracted worldwide attention. The media covered these events extensively, often making them the focus of public attention rather than his music. Michael consistently denied wrongdoing. In 2005, after a lengthy and highly publicized criminal trial, a jury found him not guilty on all charges. Even after the trial ended, the intense media attention continued. Despite the challenges, Michael never completely stepped away from music. He continued writing songs, recording new material, and working on creative projects. He also remained committed to helping others. Throughout his career, he supported numerous charities, donated millions of dollars to humanitarian causes, and visited children's hospitals around the world. To many fans, these acts reflected another side of Michael Jackson, someone who believed that music could bring people together and inspire hope. Although the constant attention and controversies affected his public image, they did not erase his impact on music and entertainment. Millions of people around the world continued listening to his songs, celebrating his performances, and recognizing the extraordinary influence he had on popular culture. After years away from the world's biggest stages, Michael believed it was finally time for a new beginning. He announced what would become one of the most anticipated concert events in history. It was called This Is It. Fans across the globe eagerly waited for what they hoped would be the return of the King of Pop. Michael Jackson, The Rise of the King of Pop. Part 7, A Legacy That Lives On, 15 minutes to 1645. Although Michael Jackson was gone, his influence never disappeared. His music continued reaching new generations. Streaming platforms introduced his songs to millions of young listeners who had never seen him perform live. Albums that had been released decades earlier continued to sell around the world. His greatest hits remained popular on radio stations, playlists, and music charts. Across social media, dancers, singers, and entertainers continued recreating his famous performances. The moonwalk became one of the most recognizable dance moves in history. His music videos continued inspiring filmmakers and musicians to think bigger and push creative boundaries. Many of today's biggest artists have spoken about the influence Michael Jackson had on their careers. His dedication to performance, attention to detail, and passion for entertaining audiences helped shape modern pop music. Beyond the awards and record-breaking album sales, Michael's greatest achievement may have been the joy his music brought to millions of people. Songs such as Billie Jean, Beat It, Thriller, Man in the Mirror, and Heal the World continue to connect with audiences across different cultures and generations. His concerts, performances, and unforgettable stage presence remain part of music history. Today, Michael Jackson is remembered not only as an extraordinary singer and dancer, but also as an entertainer who transformed the music industry. His work changed the way artists approached music videos. He raised the standard for live performances. He inspired generations of performers to dream bigger than ever before. His story reminds us that incredible talent, combined with dedication and hard work, can leave a lasting mark on the world. Decades after he first stepped onto a stage as a young boy, the title he earned is still recognized everywhere. The King of Pop. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more stories about legendary musicians and historical figures. Now we'd love to hear from you. What is your favorite Michael Jackson song, and what moment from his career inspired you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.